Now you all think I'm fabulous, and I'll do this, and hopefully you'll still think I have something to offer. Thank you very much, Kat. Yes, I'm Kristen VanGinhoven, and I'm the artistic director of WAM Theatre. I co-founded WAM Theatre with Lee Strimbeck in 2009. It's a professional theater company based in the Berkshires of Massachusetts and the capital region of New York. And we use theater to benefit women and girls. So today, I would like to talk to you about where the idea came from to use theater to take action for women and girls, and how we went about implementing what we call our double philanthropic mission. So the first question everyone asks us is, what does WHAM stand for? Which hopefully some of you are also wondering. WHAM stands for Women's Action Movement, and it all started in 2009 when I read the book, Half the Sky, Turning Oppression into Opportunity for Women Worldwide by Kristof and Sheryl WuDunn. And the book is full of stories of women all over the world, and some of you are nodding and you've read the book. It's very inspiring, right? And it's full of stories of these women all over the world who have found ways to turn their oppression into opportunity. And the book invites its readers to take action by joining the movement to emancipate women and girls, to fight global poverty by unlocking women's potential as economic catalysts. Ergo, WHAM. The book lays out a very clear agenda and solutions based around the thesis that the seminal moral issue of our century is women's oppression, just as slavery was in the 19th century. And I highly recommend that you read the book for all the details that I don't have time to go into today. But suffice it to say that when I put the book down, I believed what Kristof and WuDunn say in the book, that outsiders can make a significant difference. Lee Strimbeck, who co-founded WHAM with me, has been actively involved in women's issues for a long time. But I was someone who found it so huge, so insurmountable, and so horrible, there was no way I could possibly make a difference, so I made the choice of ignoring it. But for the first time in my life after reading this book, I was filled with inspiration and filled with the belief that even if all I could do was a little bit, it was worth trying to do that. So I put it down. I knew I wanted to take action. And because I'm a theater artist, the way that I wanted to take action was through theater. But I didn't know what form that could take. So I called Lee, who's a like-minded colleague, and I said, would you like to go on a WHAM adventure with me? Thankfully, she said yes. So in 2009, WHAM Theatre was born. We call what we do double philanthropy. The first part of our mission is that we produce professional theatrical events for everyone that focus on women theater artists or the stories of women and girls. That means we raise funds to produce professional plays, which means we create jobs for theater artists, in particular women, actors, designers, stage managers, technicians. And the second part of our mission is that we donate a portion of proceeds from all the events that we do to an organization that we choose as the beneficiary for that production. And we choose a different beneficiary for each show. So that means we work really hard to get audience members to come and pay to see our plays. And then we take a portion of our box office proceeds.
Sorry, you want to switch that? We're having a problem with the microphone. Just leave that right there. Just use this, okay?
Are you going to turn me off?
We're going to turn you off, turn you on.
Turn me off and turn me on. Okay, oh, here we are. So when we get these paying audience members into our, what we call butts in seats, we then take a portion of the box office proceeds from every show that we do. We aim for it to be 25% of the proceeds from an entire run of a production, and we donate that to the organization that we have chosen as the beneficiary for that production. Our goal is to do 2 main events a year, one that has an international beneficiary and one that has a local beneficiary, so that we're doing a little bit for the world and a little bit for our local community. The big question for us is, how could this possibly be sustainable? Theater is always the recipient of philanthropy, so how on earth could we create a model where we could raise funds to produce professional plays and then give money away to an organization that is on the front lines dealing with women's oppression issues and still have enough money to be able to continue on and make that model go on? Well, we didn't know if it could work.
But Lee and I, between us, we have over 50 years of experience in the theater, and we know how difficult it is to sustain a life in the theater, in particular for women, so we knew that we had to try. Especially because of that gender bias in the theater that still exists. Take playwrights, for example. It's a well-known fact that there are many more women entering MFA playwriting programs than there are men, and it's also a well-known fact, as you can see by the statistics on the slide, that there are many more plays that are written by men that are getting produced. And that we don't even go into directors or designers or the way that women are portrayed on stage. So just taking our region, one of our regions of Western Massachusetts, we gathered some statistics, and in 2010 of the plays produced in the whole region of Western Massachusetts, 39 of the plays were written by men and 13 by women. And I recently got the statistics for 2011, just for the Berkshires, and there were a total of 28 plays produced. Raise your hand if you think that the balance was 60-40, 70-30, 80-20, 90-10. Out of the 28 plays produced by the 4 major theater companies in the Berkshires in 2011, wait for it, 20 were written by men, 5 were written by women, and 3 were co-written by men and women. And some people say, well, that's not too bad. We still have a long way to go, especially when you consider that plays that are written by women make more money. Plays and musicals on Broadway, where women write fewer in 1 in 8 shows, by the way, they sell 16% more tickets overall. They're 18% more profitable overall. This is according to a famous study that was done by Emily Glassberg-Sands. The whole study is on her website and the New York Times website. It's a very interesting read. So you would think that if plays by women are more profitable, why are they not being produced more? So WAM decided to test out this model, produce plays that are written by women or feature dynamic roles for women, and try to do our little part to address the gender bias in theater. So that meant that we went on a huge learning curve. Lee had been involved in running a theater company before, but I started as an actor. I became a teacher and a director, and now, because I was filled with this energized desire to take action for women and girls through theater by default, I am now a producer. That meant that we had to learn how to create a website and figure out how to use social media, Facebook and Twitter and e-blasts, and collect an e-newsletter list. It also meant that we had to learn how to incorporate ourselves as a nonprofit and build a board and find ways to put that all-important PayPal donate button on our website. We also had to write a letter to our 100 closest family and friends and start raising funds to produce our first show, which meant that we had to learn about marketing and building a press list and writing a press release and building a relationship with the press. And then all of a sudden I realized there are so many times that I have no idea what I'm doing. And I would keep going back to that book and to those women in the book who had overcome incredible oppression to find a way through just sheer persistence and determination to create opportunity for themselves. And I thought, well, even though I'm very afraid, I'm just going to go out and ask questions. And thanks to an incredible community of mentors and supporters, some of whom are in the audience today, I would just say, I don't know how to do this, or I don't know what this means, or how do I make that happen? And they were all extremely generous with their time and their expertise. And thanks to them, I just had to have the courage to get involved. And then, all of a sudden, there we were in April of 2010, producing our first event. It was called a WAM Welcome, and it was a smorgasbord of the types of things that WAM wants to do. Plays created by women, or written by women, or performed by women that were for everyone. Thanks to the generous donations of our 100 closest family and friends, thankfully our donor list has now grown beyond those, we were able to produce the show, and because we were there and we actually got an audience, I remember that we were sitting there the first day going, is anybody going to come? And a woman showed up and she said, oh, I'd like to buy a ticket for my friend. I saw the feature in the Berkshire Eagle, ding, ding, Marketing 101, and I would like to buy 2 tickets. I thought, oh my God, we could put this play on just for these 2 people and I'd be over the moon. But thankfully more people showed up, and by the end of the 4 days we had over 100 people who had come to see our first show. So we had gone from no one knowing who WAM was in January of 2010 to 100 people coming to see our play and understanding that we wanted to create opportunity for theater artists and donate a portion of proceeds to an organization. So thanks to those audience members who paid for tickets and to our donors, we were able to make our first donation, which was $1,000, to our first international beneficiary, which was Women for Women International, and our mission was launched. Our second event was a play called Melancholy Play by Sarah Rule, and that was in November of 2010. So after 6 more months of continual outreach, we managed to raise more funds through a Kickstarter account and various other things. And there we were. We put on 8 performances, and we had 300 audience members. So we'd managed to triple our audience base and raise enough funds to make an increased donation of $1,500 to our first local beneficiary, which was the Women's Fund of Western Massachusetts. We also realized in 2010 that there were other ways we wanted to get involved beyond our 2 main events per year, including things like the 24-Hour Theater Project that we co-produced with MOPCO and the Arts Center of the Capital Region, where we created opportunity for over 50 professional theater artists from both the Berkshires and the Capital Region who came together to the Troy Arts Center, the Capital Region, Arts Center of the Capital Region in Troy, and spent 24 hours putting on 5 new plays by women playwrights. I'm delighted to say that it sold out, and it was such a success that we've all agreed, bless us, to do it again next March in the Berkshires. So keep your eye out for that. So our report card so far. Well, 2011 has brought increased budgets, developing audiences, more opportunities for theater artists to work with us and actually get paid, and continued donations to our beneficiaries. We've produced 3 main productions. We're currently in the middle of our 4th with a show last night and tonight and next weekend. We've done 5 one-night events. We've collaborated with nearly 100 theater artists and have been able to pay those working on 3 out of the 4 of our main productions. 80% of the artists we work with are female, and thankfully, out of the over 1,000 people that we've performed for, not all of the audience members have been female. And in terms of the second part of our report card, we have currently donated over $3,000 to the beneficiaries that we've chosen, and we're in the middle of collecting box office revenue from our 4th. So we've had 2 international beneficiaries, Women for Women International and Edna's Hospital in Somaliland. We've donated money to her to train a community midwife for 18 months. And our 2 local beneficiaries so far have been the Women's Fund of Western Massachusetts, and we're currently working towards the Berkshire United Way Teen Pregnancy Prevention Initiative. So there are many moments for us to be proud of so far in the WAM adventure, but what we'd like to do in the future is really establish WAM as a vital part of the creative economy and confirm WAM as a philanthropic theater company. What's amazing to us is that the community we're building and what seems to be making us sustainable, knock on wood, is that our audiences and our donors and our business sponsors and all the people who are joining in this WAM adventure are people who are interested in what we are interested in, doing 2 things, creating opportunity for theater artists who are choosing to live in these 2 beautiful regions, and trying to take action for women and girls, for organizations that are on the front lines taking action for women's issues. So I'd like to finish on this image because it was my personal proudest moment of 2010. This was the gift presentation of $1,500 to the Women's Fund of Western Massachusetts. It was our mission in action, and it proved to us that there was a way to make this double philanthropic model work. So nothing could delight us more than knowing that we have actually managed to find a way to use theater to benefit women and girls. Thank you.